The year 1962, the Beatles released Love Me Do. We're at the height of the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis. The first Walmart opens in Bentonville, Arkansas. Spider-Man makes his debut appearance in the comics. And enter the 1962 Chevy Corvette, which, if you think about it, represents the best of both worlds. Not only was it the last Vette based on the original sports car platform, and the last of the straight axle cars, but when equipped with the newly available fuel-injected 327 cubic inch 360 V8, it was a preview of what was to come. I absolutely love this curvy retro interior, including the Wonder Bar radio. Well ahead of its time for 1962, just press on this bar and it automatically searched for the nearest and strongest signal. The two markers here were an indication of the time, and those represented the emergency broadcast systems. Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. We're about to start the process of restoring the finish on this beautiful icon. And if you're looking for paint depth readings, there's only one place to do it, and that's on the gas cap. Everything else is fiberglass. So let's get a reading and see how much of this single stage there is to work with. 14 mils, we can go to town. Currently, the gloss on this finish really suffers because of many reasons we'll go over, but right now we're starting in the high 70s, low 80s. There is much room for improvement. Okay, you can really go down the rabbit hole when you are restoring finishes like this, but it all really depends on the budget and what the customer is looking for. This customer is going to be driving and enjoying this. This will not be in a museum. It will not be a showpiece or on a trailer most of its life. It will be used and enjoyed just the way I like it. For this particular package, for this project, we're not going for perfection. It's not what the customer is looking for. We're looking for, yes, a nice big improvement, but these cars weren't rolling around looking perfect back in the 1960s, and neither will this one, as it will be used regularly. It has also been resprayed in certain areas, and you really don't know how many times it has been resprayed. So you want to start off with a rinseless wash. Don't test the seals on these vehicles using a pressure washer and a hose and a foam cannon. Just use a rinseless wash and safely remove the grit and the dirt. You can put a plastic bag over your hand and see if there's any bonded contaminants, and then we could use clay or an iron remover from there. I'll move back to the back of the vehicle so you guys can see as I record some footage of test areas. And we're going to be trying to find the best combination of the polisher and the pad and the correction fluid, or even the sanding discs if we introduce wet sanding into this project, to get the results we're looking for. The first team or combination, the Roops Rotary Course with the Lake Country Hybrid Wool Pad, and that's attached to a Flex PE8480 Compact Rotary. You can see exactly what we're going after here. Just the heavy love marks there. We're not going after the deeper gouges. We will try and tackle some of the dust nibs from the respray. There's also orange peel texture. We will not be sanding that deep. think you can already see the improvement that we've made. I'm not going to go crazy in each section trying to make them look perfect. I just want to give you an idea what each step would look like if we went all the way around the vehicle and performed that method. Let me clean up the section a little bit, bring you guys in closer, and we'll take a look and we'll notice the difference. As we come in close, we'll see there is a nice improvement. We're not chasing perfection, but I still think there's a lot of room for improvement without getting too involved in this type of a job. So let me just grab the rotary and a nice cleaner polish or a finish polish, clean up the area, and take another look at this test section. Now we have the area cleaned up, a little bit more clarity, and not bad. I'm really not satisfied, so we're going to move on to the next section, but there is a combination that will give you quite a bit of improvement. Just need to clean up afterwards and add a finishing step. All right, let's take a look at the next team or combination. We have a spider cutting pad, waffle cut, and then we'll team that up with the extra cut 3D ACA 500, and the pad is attached to the Flex XCE 8. Okay, with the residue removed, I'll bring you in closer, and you'll see this was a decent combination as well, and you can go over and do a few more passes if you like. Try to keep the temperature down on these older finishes, so don't hover in one area with the polisher, blazing speed, with a ton of pressure. Just take it easy. Very well. We're going to move right along to the next test section. I think there's more improvement to be made with even less stress to that finish. So we're going to start with a little bit of wet sanding, and we're going to get the 3-inch foam disc, and we'll attach it to the Roops pneumatic polisher. Polishers make fantastic sanders as well, as long as they have the hook and loop backing plate that you can attach the pads to, the Trizact discs, or these foam sand pads that I have. You're in good shape. All right, now we could talk about this single stage. And as I'm sanding here or polishing, you would expect to see a deep red being transferred up onto the polish pad or into a nice red chalky substance that we're wet sanding. But it looks light, and there's a reason for that. There are many ways that you could spray a car back in the day. You could do your single stage and then lay a layer of 50-50 urethane single stage mixed with clear on top of that for depth. You could do the whole paint job that way, 50-50, or you can lay your single stage and then a straight up clear on top of that. There are many ways to go. What we have here is a 50-50 blend on top of a single stage, and that's why it's coming up a chalky white. It's really pink if you wipe it with a lighter colored microfiber towel. So here you see we have the haze from the wet sanding. A way to look at it is we're correcting scratches by making smaller scratches. So all we need to do is clean up the haze from the scratches we left doing the wet sanding with 3000 grit, and from there it really doesn't take a lot. A finishing polish, a medium polish will, depending on the clear or the single stage you're working on, it'll take something that's really not aggressive at all to clean up those sand marks. And you'll see exactly what we're using here is just a DA polisher, a foam pad, and a finishing polish. Not sure what's coming through the camera, but you should already be seeing that that section has more depth, has more clarity and shine and gloss. And we really removed a high percentage of the imperfections using that method. And it was safe. The wet sanding keeps the temperatures down on the panel. We're not putting that finish through a ton of stress, and it really didn't take a lot of time. We're going to be able to buzz around this vehicle rather quickly. So after utilizing our test areas to find the best team, the best combination to attack this single stage, we have found that 3000 grit, wet sanding, and then just finishing off with a finishing polish. You can use a medium polish depending on the hardness of the finish you're working on. So we're going to use that team, that combination, and I'm excited to see how this thing is going to turn out. This has been Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you guys in the next video.